What's up, guys? Average Kiwi guy here. How y'all doing? So I just got back from my third viewing in 2 days. I may have a problem, but I don't really care. I don't really give a shit. And I am liking it more and more. The more I see it, the more I'm understanding it more. The more I'm seeing what they're trying to do. And I know people are like, oh, but you shouldn't have to. It's like, yeah, but Star Wars has always been that thing where the more you watch it, the more you start seeing the little things, and the more you start seeing, the reasons why they're doing certain stuff. By no means do I think I know what's going on completely, because my God, in this movie, do they just throw everything out the door? They really do. Everything that we thought we knew got thrown out. That's really it. But I feel like I've got a better idea on the movie itself and all the rest of it. So in my review, I promised that I would do like a kind of after a multi-view discussion, kind of break it down a little bit, get in the nitty-gritty, and kind of tackle the big things that maybe people are having problems with, or maybe weren't so popular. It's the big decisions throughout the movie, and then maybe a few little hidden things that have popped up through there that I've noticed, and I was blind the first time because I was just too excited to watch it. So yeah, it was just to talk more Star Wars, nerd out, talk more Star Wars. That's really all we're going to do here. So just for a big heads up here, this is spoilers. This is going to be spoilers the whole way. I'm not going to hold back here. So if you have not seen the film, what are you doing? Go and watch it. Go watch it right now. Seriously, go and watch it. I don't want to ruin it for anyone. I think this is a movie that you need to go in and watch completely spoiler free. You don't want to know anything going in, because there are moments that will just like, whoa, okay, this was not what we thought. So go and see it, then come on back and you can talk with us about it too. So there you go. So spoilers are incoming the whole way. All right. So after my third viewing, and I do have another one tomorrow. Several groups of friends and a family tomorrow, because my birthday's on Monday, so we're doing my dad's is on Sunday, so we can't really get together on those days, so we're doing a family thing tomorrow, which is Star Wars. After the third viewing, do I still feel the same way that I felt from the first one? Like, do I still feel like this was a really, really good Star Wars? And I feel like it's a really good Star Wars. I really do. Because this one, and this was the complaint last time, with Force Awakens, like, oh, they're just remaking New Hope. That was what it was. This time you can't say that. You can't say that this was Empire. No way can you say that this was Empire. They threw all that stuff out the door. It had a similar feel. It had that similar feel where the bad guys are winning and all the rest of it, but there was no big battle with the rebellion and the Empire and stuff. Maybe the first, space battle, but this is a completely different setting. And I think this movie understands that now. That the Resistance is not the rebellion. It's not. It's not the Rebels, not the Alliance. It's not any of it. Because the size of the Resistance is so small. It's just a group. It's just a small group. They could all fit on one cruiser. So they're punching above their weight limit right now, going up against the First Order, taking out, Starkiller Base and all that. That was a lucky shot. That was like, beyond what Luke did in New Hope, where he took down the Death Star. They at least had, somewhat of a fleet. They had somewhat of, a squadron of X-Wings and all the rest of it, and bombers and all that. Resistance, they probably have maybe a couple of squadrons of X-Wing, maybe one, honestly, when you put it all together, and a bomber squadron, which gets ripped to pieces, and a cruiser and a couple of support ships. That's it. Because you gotta remember, the Resistance is not the Republic. Leia, and this comes from the book Bloodlines, and I do recommend you read Bloodlines. It's actually really, really good. And it explains kind of the birth of the First Order and how they came to be and how the Republic allowed them to how this to happen, and why the Republic could get wiped out in just one blast from the Starkiller Base. And, you know, the Republic refused to deal with the First Order. They're like, no, we're not dealing with them. They're just an offshoot, fanboys of the Empire. They're not worth our time. We have a Republic to run. We also don't want to build up our military because we don't want to look like we're the Empire. So we're going to demilitarize a lot, only have one fleet, and we're going to move the Senate around, and wherever the Senate is, that fleet will be. That's all it's there for, is to defend the Senate, defend the main planet, and that's it. They did not have anything else. It was just the one fleet. And Starkiller wiped it all out. That's it. So, the First Order, they've been building for like, I think it's 20 plus years they've been building up here. Slowly building up all their might. They've been strip mining things. Like you hear from Rose, like her planet was a small mining colony, and it got strip mined. And the First Order, they were all on the Outer Rim. They were all in the unknown reaches and all the rest of it, just hiding, just chilling out, building their armies up, and then, boom, hit the Republic. One big punch, knockout. Now they can just sweep in and take everything. So resistance-wise, that's why we don't see any big, rebel fleets and all the rest of it. It's not going to be that. It ain't. They don't have the ships. They don't have the people. They got nothing. They got absolutely nothing. So it was interesting, and you got that sense the more you saw it, like how desperate it all was. I still don't like the whole chase idea with the resistance and with the First Order. It was like, are you serious? Like, you're just gonna chill, cruise along at full speed. You're not gonna send any, Star Destroyers up ahead, jump them around the system and come in from the other side. Is that not a thing? Like, I guess they're like saying, well, it's overconfidence, it's all this, it's that. Like, it adds some stakes. It added some stakes to the whole rebel side, to the rebellion, resistance side, I should say. There's so many damn names. But it's... I don't like that concept. I don't like it all that well. The conclusion to it is fantastic. I mean, that light speed torpedo shot is like... every time you see it, it's like... Damn. And you hear it in the cinema. Everyone's like... Oh, shit. Like, we finally see what happens when you go to light speed and you hit something. Like, it just shreds the fleet. And I love it. It is such a great scene in the movie. I love it. But the whole thing where it's like, we're losing ships, then we lose another ship, then keep going, we gotta get the crate, keep going. And like, not telling Poe what's going on, it's actually very typical Rebels, right? When the heroes aren't there, when there's no one to take charge, and there's just normal people, it all freaks out and all goes to shit. It really does. Like, just look at Rogue One. Look like no one would do anything unless they were the heroes. That was really it. Leia goes down for what? Like an hour? She gets knocked out. She has an amazing scene and gets knocked out, and everything goes to shit. So it's just like nothing can happen unless they're there to protect it, make sure it all goes according to plan. I think like it's very messy, that stuff. It is very messy. So I get that part. So that's a little bit of the resistance side. I think that's just to, set the scene for them. Like, you got to remember the scale of the resistance. You got to remember like how small they are. Like, literally by the end of it, they all fit on the Falcon. Because every time they engage the First Order, they lose half their people. Every time. It's like, boom, lose another one. Boom, lose another one. Boom, we lost all our ships. Now we have nothing. We hit the Falcon. That's it. That's it. So, yeah. So that's the little stuff out of the way, really, like resistance-wise. Now we get into the big stuff. The big stuff that people are like, what the heck? What is this? Why did you do that? That's not what I thought. That's not what I wanted. This is not what the thing, and all the rest of it. Where people will have problems with it. Now, I'm with you on the Snoke stuff. Snoke, I don't think was handled very well. He wasn't. Now, Do I think he's actually dead? No. I don't think he's dead. Or whatever Snoke was is not dead. Is not dead. Mainly because I don't believe Kylo is ready to be the big bad. And I don't think he ever could be the big bad. I compare him to Vader. And don't get me wrong. Vader is the greatest Star Wars villain you could ever have. Ever have. He's the greatest. Literally. He's just like, you can't match him. Kylo will never match him. Vader is Vader. But for Vader to be Vader, you had to have the Emperor behind him. Emperor was the plotty guy going, yes, setting out the plans, doing all this stuff, setting all the big stuff in motion. But all the cool stuff, all the, going out there and just wrecking all the ships and shooting, all the, enforcer stuff, the murders and atrocities, all the stuff that Vader did. Vader could do that because he didn't have to be the big bad. He was the enforcer. He was the cool one. He was the cool one that everyone liked because he didn't have to sit in a chair going, yes, the rebellion will fall. Like that sort of thing. Vader, to be Vader, had to have the Emperor as well. For Kylo to be Kylo, he needs someone else. He needs someone above him. And Kylo has not reached the point where he can be that big bad, where he can have the master plan, where he could, take on the resistance and wipe everything out and take over the galaxy and stuff. He's just not there. He's not that type of villain. And you could tell by the end of the movie, like, how, he's still so unstable. He's, completely instinctual. He just does things just because he thinks that's what it is. He's unpredictable. He cannot be that guy that plots ahead 10 moves ahead of everyone else. He can't. He's not that type of person. He's not that type of guy. And also, Snoke's power level, there's no way in hell that he could not see that Kylo was twisting that lightsaber to take him out. He can't. Like, yeah, you could say, oh, maybe he was cocky, overconfident, and all the rest of it. I seriously just don't think that physical body that he had was all that Snoke is. I truly believe that he's either immortal in some way, that he can come back through the Force. And we've seen, like, the Force, like, what you can do with the Force take a massive upgrade in this movie. A massive upgrade. They have gone away from Force pushes and, jumping and, Force lightning and all the physical stuff. They've shown that. But now we're going into some bigger stuff. Like, linking two minds together so they can see each other from across systems. That sort of thing. Projecting yourself from system to system and allowing everyone to perceive that you're there and actually physically touch something as like a Force projection. The Force techniques and everything have gone up massively, hugely in this one. They've delved into stuff that's made the Force go back to something that's mystical and this magical and something completely unknown, which is what has needed to happen with the Force for a long time, because we needed something new to come to the Force. So I mean, seriously, like, how many more times are we going to see them float rocks? How many more times are we going to see Force lightning and all this stuff? Like, we needed that, that push, that something new to come from here. And they did that. So, someone coming back through the Force is not going to be something out of the realm. Snoke could have that way. Or, he could be clones. He could be anything. I don't see someone that powerful. Like, he was flicking Rey around like she was nothing. Like, absolutely nothing. He had the ability to meld two minds together, link two minds together across systems to a planet no one even knew that was there. He hadn't even met Rey. And he could do it. He could see everything in Kylo's head, all of this stuff. I can't believe someone who could undermine Luke Skywalker and his training, take a student, twist him, and turn him on that temple and just destroy it. He's coming back. He's coming back as either Snoke, like the way we've seen him, or something completely different. And I think it would happen early on in the 9th movie. I really do. I think it's like Kylo trying to consolidate his power, trying to take over the First Order, and then Snoke shows back up and goes, you really thought you could kill me? You know, just like, little boy sit down sort of thing, you know? So, I don't believe Snoke's dead. And also because, like, they've told us nothing about him, and he's still that big black hole. He's still that big black hole in Star Wars lore. We don't know who he is. We know nothing about him. And you can't just create a character, tell us nothing, show him, and then kill him off and do nothing. If they do that, then yeah, I will be pissed along with you guys. But I strongly believe that he's not dead. That he's not permanently dead, I should say. That this is either part of his plan or is a hiccup in the plan, and he's just like, it's all good, I don't die. Like, and even he was like saying, no one can betray me. No one can think. I can see everything. So, I think that is going to be a big reveal in 9. I really do. I believe Snoke will be that big reveal. I don't think he's dead. No. Not that easy. No way that easy. So yeah, that I'm not too worried about. I'm not worried about that. I think if it does, like, you know, episode 9 and Kylo is the bad guy and all the rest of it, I hope that movie is, like, they do something amazing with that movie, because I just don't believe Kylo could carry that. I can't. I don't believe the Kylo that we know. I don't believe that he could carry that as the big bad villain. I just can't. I can't. Then I guess the second big thing, which is how they handled Rey, and how they essentially made her nothing. That she is nothing. That she is this fresh, brand new character that has no links to no one and all this stuff. I have 2 theories. I have 2. One is that she is not no one, and that she actually is linked to someone, and we'll find out in 9 that it was all either... Well, I'll explain that part when we get to it. Or 2, that she is no one, and it's actually playing more towards the next trilogy, not this one. So, we'll delve into each one as we go. So, first one, that she is actually someone. That she is linked in some way to a Skywalker or whatever. Or Obi-Wan or anyone, right? You have this girl. You have this girl who is uber powerful in the Force. Like, she is from, you know, literally, she's gone 0 to 60 in 0.1 seconds, literally, in the Force. Like, she's up to Kylo's level like that. She can literally take on the pseudo Knights of Ren, because those Praetorian guards were the Knights of Ren. I'm certain of it. Like, the helmets and all the rest of it, the weapons and all that. And that was a badass scene, by the way. I love it every time I see it. It's awesome. But God, I wish those were the Knights of Ren. I think they would have been so much better. You have that, you know, you have her as just being this pure natural. I do strongly believe that she has been trained. I think she's been trained. And that she was taken out of the training. I don't know if she was trained by Luke or she was trained by someone else. But she was taken out of her training. Her mind was wiped and implanted another memory so that no one could know who she is, and planted on Jakku to keep her safe. I truly believe that. That is one I'm clinging to a little bit there. That's something that I still cling to after this movie. That was one that I thought might come into fruition in this one. Now, whether who she is and who she is or who she is still up for question in this thing. But you can't tell me that this girl, and you could tell with the way Luke was looking at her. The very first time that Luke does it, you know, the first lesson is her sitting on the rock and she has to reach out and experience the Force. Apart from the whole, you know, reaching out with the hand and, you know, the whole funny thing there, yeah. She does it first pop. First pop. she perceives the Force. She sees everything. She understands it all. The balance, how it works, all this stuff, the light, the dark, all of it. She just does it. She does it. It's natural to her, like she's done it before. And you know, it all goes, you know, through that. Then when Luke's watching her with the lightsaber, and you could see it on his face, like, my God, this girl is using a lightsaber like she's used it every day of her life. It's a part of her. She's, you know, doing all the forms. She has this natural ability with it. I would love it if she was trained. That she was trained by either Luke in some way. Like, she was this young girl that Luke can't remember. Like, maybe Luke was wiped or something like that. Like, I know that would be strange that even Luke Skywalker could. Or somehow she was trained. Or you go into the second option, which is that she is a no one. That she was this just trader, you know, this junker's daughter who got sold off for drinking money and all the rest of it. That she is the manifestation of what the Force needs at this time. That the balance, because you know how they keep talking about balance through this movie. It's all about balance. You got to keep, you know, the darkness rises and the light comes to meet it. She could be what the Force needs. And they basically, Rey is this conduit for the Force, and it flows through her so easily that everything that she does Force related comes so easily. Like, I mean, you look at, like, in the end of the movie, when she's with those rocks, and she lifts all of those rocks. Remember Luke in freaking Empire, how long it took him to, like, perceive the Force and even move a few little rocks. Honestly, I think she could have picked that X-Wing out of the water, flipped it around, tilted upside down, shake all the water out of it, and put it on the damn swamp. That's how powerful Rey is right now. She could Force manipulate people. She's either this pure adept, and she's no one, or she's trained, and she's someone. I truly believe it's one of the two. I would love it if she is trained and she's someone. But if she is an adept, that she's just this pure natural and she's no one, I believe that's setting that up for the next saga. Because remember, the next saga has no Skywalkers. No Skywalkers, and it's in another part of the galaxy. A part of the galaxy we have not seen. So, if Rey's not a Skywalker, that means there are only 2 Skywalker-related characters left. And we know one is not coming out, and that's Princess Leia. For obvious reasons, which is very sad. That means Ben is the only one. So if Ben doesn't make it out of 9, that means there's no more Skywalkers. They're dead. Ben is the only one to continue the Skywalker line on. So that means Rey continues on to the next one. Finn, all the rest of it, whoever you want to carry over, because no one else is related to the Skywalkers. So that's where I said, like, you know, it can link into that next saga. That by Rey not being someone connected to the older characters, now she can create her own. So that's the 2 theories I see there. That she is just this pure adept, this pure natural that the Force created, because not like Anakin, like that was created from the midichlorians. I'm not getting into that. That is just nonsense. But was created from the Force and is this pure sort of, you know, there was no father and all the rest of it. She had a father, she had a mother. But she has a strong connection to the Force, and I believe the Force maybe amplifies that because they needed her. The Force needs her to keep the balance. That the darkness is rising, so the light has to come with it. It's all about balance. And she can continue on into the next saga. Potentially. So, that's my 2 theories for Rey. That, one, she's trained secretly, that her mind was wiped, that a memory was implanted into her, and that she is related to someone. Or, she's no one. And that she can move to the next saga, that she's this pure adept, and all the rest of it. And now that she has the Jedi books, man, she stole them all. She took them all, and they're all in that in the Falcon. You know, you see that at the end of the movie when Finn is looking for stuff in the drawer. And so she's preparing herself, and I would love it if Leia had something to do with her training too, because remember Leia, like, she got blown out of the damn bridge in space. Like literally her body is freezing in space, and she opens her eyes and just forces, uses the Force to take her. Like I think she shields herself with the Force and moves to the ship. That is probably one of the most badass Force things that I have seen any of them do. That's what I mean by, like, when the Force got taken to another level this movie. It really did. It really did. So yeah, that's my theories on Rey there. Going into the movie, I hoped that she was Luke's daughter. I really did. Mainly because I wanted a Mara Jade character. I wanted a Mara Jade. That was my big thing. As that tombstone in the end of the first one, which I don't think you even saw in this movie. All this stuff. I was like, it's gotta be like, I hope that's like Rey's mother. She died. They got Rey out to protect her. And she's come back, and it's gonna be, of course Luke's probably not gonna tell her, and it's gonna be a big thing at the end. No. No. I'm kind of hoping it's a bait and switch, that she is someone, and she is someone big, and that she's related to someone in that way. Or they will stick with this, and that she's completely separate from the others, and that she's, basically her own character, and they can go from her, and they created their own. The whole thing with Luke, do I like what they did with him? Like, after watching it a few more times and all the rest of it, I think some people were kind of hoping, like, he would count that he was going to be this grand Jedi master, that he was on some secret mission, hunting down Jedi artifacts and all this stuff and how to beat Snoke. But instead, he's just this grumpy old man who went to the first Jedi temple because no one knows how to find it to die. That's it. And of course, Rey comes there and shakes it all up, and he actually goes out with a bit of a bang. I kind of like what they did with him. It's not like, because I can see what they're doing. They're passing the mantles on. They really are. They're passing the mantle from Luke to Rey, of being the Jedi, the hero. That's what's happening. So all the older characters have passed that on. They have. Like, for me, like last time, Han passed his mantle on to Finn and Poe in a way. Because Finn and Poe are like the two parts of Han Solo split apart, for me, personally. So that's, what they're doing there. And then, I guess, with Leia, it's tricky there because, in a way, Rey is like Leia as well. So it's tricky to see how she'll pass her mantle on too. But I think Rey will inherit that as well. So it'll be interesting to see what plays out there. But this movie was all about passing that mantle on to the next characters, to the next guys, so they can continue on that on the saga. Whether you like that or not, like, they had to do it. Mark Hamill was not going to do Star Wars for the rest of his life. Carrie Fisher is sadly gone, and we can't. She's gone. And Harrison Ford is not coming back. He's not. So they have to find ways to give the older characters, give the originals their send-offs the way that they want to go out. Give them that moment in the sunshine, the moment of just, this is how badass they are. Then pass that mantle on to the next. Because it's what's going to have to happen. You know, the prequels never had to do that because they were the prequels. They were before these characters. They just had to create them. You know, create the next ones. That's really all they had to do. And that's what, you know, sets the prequels back. That's all in the future. So they had to pass that mantle on. So the whole thing with Luke, you know, him being the grungy old man and then training Rey to a point, you know, giving her little tips and advices and stuff like that. Basically ripping into the Jedi Order, which she was completely right about. You know, the Jedi Order is not all that great. It really isn't. You know, you look at the things that they did and how stupid they were, how arrogant and blind and all this stuff. Like, they literally took an army without knowing where it came from. You know, and you watch Clone Wars and you see the stuff that happens. The Jedi Order is horrible in ways. They really are. So the Jedi Order does have to end. And it's in that state. They have to create something new now. Which is exciting. It's exciting. It's something different, something new. So it'll be interesting to see how that comes out. I'm still hoping for Grey Jedi. I want Grey Jedi. I want, you know, because Rey's quite willing to go into the dark and the light, and you know, she's strong enough to balance the two. Hopefully that is a thing. So yeah, that the whole thing with Luke, and then the projection stuff at the end. Again, like, that's taking the Force to the next level. Like, that's next level Force techniques. That's not just pushing rocks. That's projecting your consciousness, you know, a projection across systems to another planet where everyone sees. It's insane. We're not seeing that before. The closest thing we've seen is Force ghosts. And I mean, it did kill him. It killed him doing it. But that's some next level techniques, and it's something the Force has needed. I like how he went out. I did. Now, it would be cool to see like this badass lightsaber battle with him and Kylo, and they're going boom, 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 boom. And, you know, then maybe he has this like Obi-Wan moment where he just things, and, you know, Kylo cuts him down and his cloak falls and all the rest of it. Then everyone would complain, oh, but that's just copying the Obi-Wan Vader fight. Like, that's all it's gonna be. Like, it's just copying that. Wow. But they wanted to try something different. They wanted to do something different. They wanted to change up the whole, you know, we're not gonna follow the same things over and over again. We're not gonna regurgitate the same scenes. Like, Snoke and all that scene, very similar to, like, Episode 6, where, you know, Emperor has Luke, tells him to look out the window, and he sees the fleet being destroyed. You know, it was similar to that, but that went a completely different way. You know, there are elements there, but they did their own thing. And I like that. It's something that Star Wars is needed. It's something fresh, it's something new, something to kick it in, you know, kick it into gear and move it forward. So we're not just recycling the same stories over and over again. So the stuff with Luke, I'm okay with. I'm okay with how they did him. Trouble was, though, with me with Luke, is I'm so used to Mark Hamill's voice as the Joker, and I keep hearing the Joker in him. So I had to, like, you know, I still kind of struggle with that a little bit. But it was, you know, it was still Luke Skywalker to me. I guess everyone was kind of hoping, like, for, you know, Jedi hero, master, legend Luke Skywalker, you know, to come in, save the day, fight with the Resistance and all this stuff. He's an old man. He's an old man who's seen a lot of shit. Now, I would have liked to have seen a lot more than just Ben going, you know, crushing the tent and, like, well, not the building, you know, in the flashback for the training temple. I would have liked to have seen a lot more than that. I really did. Like, how, you know, just that, like, seeing, like, why did Luke suspect Kylo? You know, why, you know, what things were we seeing? How did, you know, he knew, like, Snoke had twisted him. where did Snoke come into all this? Like, this is all the stuff we still don't know. So that part frustrates me. Like, okay, you've explained what set Kylo off. Like, what drove him to just murder everything. It's a little overkill, to be honest. It's like, okay, Luke tried to kill you, but no one else did. But you destroyed everything. Like, it shows how unstable the boy is. It shows how unstable Ben is. But yeah, I would have liked a little more out of those scenes. But you know, the projection stuff, him, basically, going to the Force. He's coming back as a Force Ghost, so we're gonna get more of him. And he can be the Force Ghost Jedi Master trainee, Master for Rey from then on. So it'd be fine. Or maybe he'll just hang around Kylo and annoy Kylo. I don't know. But I believe that it was the thing that they had to do. The thing they had to do was to pass the mantle on from Luke to Rey. I thought they might have done it in 9, but I think they want to get that out of the way so that they can really do a big statement in 9. So, we'll do some, and then finally we'll kind of just finish off some like little things and stuff that we, like, what do I think? Like stuff like maybe people dead, stuff like that. Phasma. Do I think Phasma's dead? I don't think so. I think she'll show back up again. I think she's that type of character that be like, nah, I fell into a pit of fire, but, I got some scars and stuff, but I'm a badass, so I'll probably be back. So, yeah, I could see her coming back, in a way. It'd be sad to see her go. I don't think she's done all that much, which is sad. She had her moment there with Finn, but I think, she was underused in Force Awakens, so they used her now. Hopefully she does come back. I think she should be a good thing there. The stuff with Finn and Rose, I think they'll keep pushing. I like that. I think it's... I don't need Rey to have the relationships with Finn and all that. I don't need that love thing there with them. I don't think Rey needs that at all. Maybe like at the end of 9, maybe someone shows up. Like, they had that little moment there with her and Poe. So I was like, okay, there's a little thing there. They flirted with Kylo a little bit there as well. But I don't need Rey to have that. I don't think she needs that as a character. So I like Finn and Rose. I think they're a nice little pair up there. That DJ character, I was not a fan of him. I don't think he was a fan. I think he's just playing the scoundrel role. I think he's just a guy they, Benicio del Toro is a good character, like good actor, I should say, but the stuff they're doing with his dialogue and stuff, it was just, he's alright. He was just not someone that I, have to have for the next one. Obviously, I'd like to see Mars in the next one. It was good to see her in the holovid, but it was like, it's not Mars. It doesn't have that same impact. The Church of the Force would be nice to have represented. I think that's where Mars could come in. The whole Church of the Force, the people that, believe in the Force but aren't Jedi, who aren't Force sensitive, and they believe in that stuff. So I'd like to see that. So that's with Mars. Another little bit that I was a little disappointed with them in, which was Admiral Akbar. I mean, he got blown out when Leia got sucked out the thing. He got blown up too. And they did not make much of a thing for him. Which is, it's just a shame. It's a shame. Like, Admiral Akbar in these new films has not had too much, really. He has not had that much of a show. He's been there. He's had his moment, little bits here and there. But he's not had his thing. So, it would have been nice for him to have somewhat of a little moment, He had a bit of a silent death. You know, he got mentioned, but, you know, one of the iconic Star Wars characters, you know, sort of supporting characters, just gets this sort of like, meh, you're dead sort of deaths. It was disappointing. Like, you could have had it right that they're getting sucked out the thing. Akbar grabs Leia and is holding on for dear life, and then there's another explosion. They both get sucked out, and then Leia has her thing. So Akbar has his one last heroic moment. Like, that's what I would like to have seen. Or you keep him, and he was like, you know, you don't have to have Holdo. You had Akbar. But I just don't think they wanted Akbar around, which is sad. I think it was a little bit of a sad thing. Yeah. The kid at the end. Now, I don't think this scene was necessary. I think it was a little like, this is not really how Star Wars ends. It's normally like a group shot at the end, or some, you know, like obviously Rey at the end with Luke and Force Awakens. I think when they're all on the ship and they're all there and they're like, you know, kind of, you know, I think Leia just said, we got everything that we need. I think that would have been enough. I think that should have been the final scene and then just cut. But the kid at the end, if you didn't see it, and you are going to, if you didn't see it at the end, he uses the Force to pull the broom to his hand. There, you know, it's very subtle, it's very small, but you see it come to his hand. So that's saying, like, yep, the kids are Force sensitive. The Force is growing. You know, there are Force sensitives out there, and they've always been out there. Like, it's not like, oh, the Jedi are dead, Force sensitives are all dead. You know, that's why the Emperor made Inquisitors and, you know, all this stuff to go around and hunt Force sensitives and all this stuff, because they were either used to become Inquisitors or they were killed. So, you know, that was the thing. That was the thing. And, you know, the Emperor would take Force sensitive kids and all the rest of it. So that scene, I think it's like, it's okay, guys. The rebellion is growing and it's got people there. So does that mean that we're going to have a bit of a time skip for the next one? Like, Return of the Jedi, I think that was about, they said it was about a year? Maybe 6 months to a year. So maybe a bit of a time skip here. Because, you know, this one was like right after. You know, literally, like, I think that these two movies may span, what would it be, like a couple of weeks? It wouldn't be much. It's not much of a space and time. It really isn't. So 9 might jump. I think 9 might jump a decent amount, or they'll keep it close, and that means 10, 11, and 12 could jump just a little bit. That way, they can keep using these actors. You know, they can age at the same rate, and they're not going to have to age them up in any way, or they don't have to age them down or anything like that. So I think they might keep it close, but we'll see there. So the kid, I don't think it's anything. I think that's just a representation of, like, yeah, the Force is growing and the rebellion is growing and they've got supporters. It was a little over dramatized, that one, I think. It was just like, that was an unnecessary scene. It was an unnecessary scene. They just add a little intrigue there because the boy's Force sensitive. But it was alright. It was okay. It was okay. And then, yeah, I guess it's like, where do we think this is going to go? Just a little, like, you know, very early, like, where do we think 9 might go? My first hope for 9, now that Rey does not have to use Luke's lightsaber anymore, give that girl a double-bladed lightsaber. Please. You've already got the staff that looks like it has lightsabers on the end. Give that girl the staff. Let her have, you know, doesn't have to be long lightsabers at the end, but just the long lightsabers. Lightsaber staff. Boom. Fantastic. Amazing. It'll be fantastic. It'll be great. It'll be great. Or just give her a pure double-bladed lightsaber. The girl needs that. She doesn't need to be using the... Like, she's badass with the single blade. I get that. But we've only ever had one double-bladed lightsaber in the canon movies. And that was Darth Maul. We need another one. We need another one. So, I hope that's a thing. Like, in the teasers, I want to see just this shot where she unites her new lightsaber, and it is a double blade, and I will shit my pants. I really will. It would be fantastic. Like I said with Snoke, I would love to see, you know, like, Snoke come back in some shape or form, because I do not believe Kylo can carry this as a villain solely by himself. I don't think he's that type of villain. They need help there. I think Luke's coming back. I think he'd be a Force ghost. I love to see Obi-Wan. I think Obi-Wan needs to make an appearance. I'm happy with Ewan McGregor. Ewan McGregor in the prequels was the only one I loved coming out of there. I think he did a fantastic job as Obi-Wan. And I want him to have his own movie. I want an Obi-Wan movie. Kind of explaining what, you know, the stuff that happened while he was watching over Luke. Give me that. So, old Ewan McGregor Obi-Wan, I'd be happy with. No, it's not Alec Guinness, but we can't have Alec Guinness no more. Ewan McGregor's the next best thing. And I would love to have him there. And then, yeah, I guess it's like, well, what's it gonna be about? And like, it's gonna have to be a big thing. It's gonna have to be the taking down the First Order, or does the First Order win? Does the First Order win? The Resistance, the Rebellion, like, it's just starting to grow. They move to another sector of space. That's when you get the new trilogy that Rian Johnson's doing. So, very early on, obviously we got, you know, I still got to see this movie a couple more times. Seeing it tomorrow, obviously, with the family, and then I'll probably see it again for my birthday. This is my thing. This is what I love. I love Star Wars. So, when the new one's out in the movies, I mean, like, come on. I'm going to be all over it. All I can say is go out and see it. Go in with an open mind. Don't expect the unexpected in a way. And don't get stuck in, like, Star Wars has to be this. Give it a chance. That's all I can say. Is it perfect? Is it the best, like, you know, Star Wars movie? No, I don't think it is. I think it's a little messy in places. I think the three-prong sort of storyline, the three-point of view thing doesn't work so well. I think 2 is the maximum you can really do there, and it works. Because the third one kind of steals time from the other 2. The Resistance stuff, you know, with them just running away from the First Order fleet, and the First Order fleet just following them. It baffles my mind. Like, can no one just light speed ahead, light speed back a little bit, pop, I'm in front of you, oh no, boom, 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 you're dead. Like, that, is that not a thing? Pincer movement. Like, seriously. But yeah. So, Last Jedi. I personally have had a great time watching it. I've seen it 3 times. I've enjoyed it every single time I've watched it. I'm going to see it another 2 times. Potentially more. So, yeah. I think if you go in there, you have an open mind as a Star Wars fan. Enjoy it as a Star Wars. Like, just embrace it. And then just see it for what it is. Not like, oh, but it didn't follow what I wanted it to do. Like, that Rey is not Leia's daughter, or Rey is not Luke's daughter. Like, it's okay. Let it play out. We're not there yet. We still got 9 as well. It's a trilogy. This is the middle story. You know? And remember, not everyone liked Empire when it came out either. Not everyone liked Empire. So, we'll see. We'll see. You know, now pretty much for everyone, Empire's favorite. We'll see how Last Jedi ages, I think. You know, as people see it more, as it, you know, people watch it in the whole, as the whole thing, and, you know, as the whole series, we'll see how it all comes together. But yeah, I think that's enough of me ranting on about Star Wars and The Last Jedi and stuff like that. Obviously, everyone has their opinions. Everyone has things, and I'm not saying that other people's opinions are wrong or anything like that. These are mine. Take them as you will. That's really it. Everyone's entitled to them. All I say is, I don't force my opinions on you. You don't force them on me, and we're all good. That's really it. But yeah. So, hope you guys have all gone out to see it. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Or not. That's completely up to you. But we only get these Star Wars movies, like, well, I mean, now we're getting them once every 2 years, but it's a big thing to get these big major episodes. So, don't take it for granted. Don't take it for granted. I think it's a very good time for Star Wars fans. So, enjoy it. Have a good time. But yeah. Alright guys, that's it for us. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.